Some burdens are too heavy for any man to carry, even an outlaw. When we think of Waylon Jennings, we picture the rebel, the driving beat of outlaw country, the man who fought Nashville and won. But behind the leather vests and the rough voice, Waylon carried a ghost born on a freezing night in February 1959, the night they call the day the music died. Waylon was just a young man playing bass for his best friend, the legendary Buddy Holly. They were on the Winter Dance Party tour. It was brutally cold. The tour buses kept breaking down. The musicians were exhausted, freezing, and miserable. Buddy Holly had had enough. He chartered a small plane for himself and his bandmates to fly to the next show in Minnesota. Waylon had a seat on that plane. He was supposed to be on it. But another musician on the tour, J.P. Richardson, known as the Big Bopper, had the flu. He was a big man, running a fever, and couldn't handle another freezing night on the bus. He asked Waylon for a favor. "Waylon," he said, "can I take your seat on the plane?" Waylon, being the good-hearted Texas boy he was, gave up his seat. When Buddy Holly found out that Waylon wasn't flying, he smiled and joked with his friend. Buddy said, "Well, I hope your old bus freezes up." Waylon smiled back and replied with a joke of his own, a joke that would haunt his soul for the rest of his life. Waylon said, "Well, I hope your old plane crashes." A few hours later, in the dead of night, amidst a blinding snowstorm, the plane carrying Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper slammed into a cornfield. There were no survivors. Waylon Jennings woke up the next morning to the news that his best friend was dead, and the last words he ever spoke to him were a joke about the plane crashing. Imagine the weight of that guilt, the crushing reality that if you had just kept your seat, you would be gone, and someone else would be alive. For decades, Waylon rarely spoke of it. It was a wound too deep to touch. He battled inner demons, throwing himself into his music, his career, and sometimes destructive habits, just to silence the memory of that snowy runway. But the pain of that night never really left him. It poured into his voice. It gave his music that deep, sorrowful edge that millions of people connected with. Waylon Jennings became a legend, but he lived his whole life knowing he was living on borrowed time that belonged to the Big Bopper. If the stories of these legends mean something to you, please subscribe to our channel. Let's keep their memories alive together. Thank you for listening.